Hello, welcome to Roundtable, where we serve up piping hot debates on the issues that sizzle in China and beyond. I'm Niu Honglin with Lai Ming and Yushan, and we're saying hi from Guizhou Province. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
For those of you who are listening instead of watching the show, you can have a little riddle. Take a guess where we are now, and I have 3 hints. First of all, it is a market. Second of all, it is a really, really, really hot market. And third, people sneeze and cough and share a little bit tears in the market.
It's a crying market.
It's a crying market, not because we are so moved because we're making good deals, but because it is a dry pepper market. For those of you who are watching, you can see the dry pepper all around us, and it is the typical market where people negotiate a little bit, talk to each other, find their best deals. But something different in the market is that instead of having a variety of different foods, fresh food, vegetable, fruits, they only sell this one type of vegetable that is pepper, dry pepper. Different types of dry pepper, different shapes, different color, different level of spiciness, definitely different price, and they are all very, very hot.
And if you had a chance to watch the show, you'll see we are surrounded by piles beyond piles and bags upon bags of red pepper. And these are dry, and this is a place where people are in action. This is a special day. The 13th of May on the traditional Chinese calendar, and locally, when 3 or 8 is involved in the date, people come together, kind of like the fairs that people host in rural areas that are not very populated. So this is a very busy day, and action already started before daybreak, and we had to wait until the action settles down a bit. But still, people are walking around, they're bargaining, they're packing and unpacking. Whenever there's action, the air, it gets disturbed, and the tiny particles of red pepper will somehow drift into our nostrils, will irritate our nostrils, and we apologize in advance for any interruption and or any impolite behavior on our part.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I'm going to sneeze and cough a little bit because I've been doing this since I'm in the market. It is quite a cool experience. I've visited many fresh food markets, and I cannot name all the products in the market, but here in this one, I know there are peppers for sure, but there are too many types of peppers. Local people grow pepper for a living, and they sell pepper for a living, they process pepper for a living, they create new ways to consume pepper for a living, and that is why we're coming to this place. Those of you who know that Roundtable has been in Guizhou Province for a while, we are doing China Horizon Special Series, and we've been visiting the Qiandong, Nan, Miao, and Dong prefecture, and we've moved to Guiyang, which is the provincial capital, and now we're in the city of Zunyi, which is also a very important and famous city here in Guizhou.
Sure, it's historic. In fact, in the history of the Communist Party of China, there was a very important historic meeting.
That's how I learned about the city when I was a kid.
Yes, people must know the city from that part of the history. It was a very important meeting, leading to the foundation, in fact, the very basis of the political system before the founding of the People's Republic of China. And now many years have passed, and now the city is taking on a new look, a different kind of red from the red peppers.
Indeed, I was interviewing several people that's working inside the pepper industry here in the city of Zunyi. So apart from the red tourism and also historic tourism here in Zunyi, they're also very much known and popular for eating pepper. And in fact, that has over 400 years of history right here in the city of Zunyi as well. So it's really exciting to, just not eat chili pepper as a seasoning, but sniff it, feel it, and embraced in an environment that's full of it. So that's a new experience for me as well.
Right.
Before coming here, I was doing a little bit of research and I was trying to figure out how come this small place, I'm talking about the county, not the city of Zunyi. City of Zunyi is definitely the home of peppers,
Sure.
but the county of Xiazi, the Xiazi County, is the heart of the whole industry, of the pepper industry in Guizhou and probably throughout the entire country.
And to think this is a town of only 60,000 people around that?
Around that, and it has the ability to influence the entire pepper industry in China. It even has the privilege of setting the price tag or giving the indicator of different types of special yet delicious and also maybe really, really spicy peppers for the entire market in Guizhou and also in China. And we were really trying to figure out the story. How come? What happened? Why are pepper lovers all around the world, all around China, come here to get their peppers? How come industry insiders decide that this little town, just this little county just has it? It has it for the industry. What happened? And that's why we're here. Even though we're sneezing and coughing all the time, we want to make sure that the story is told, is discovered. And we've talked to some people before doing the show, so we've got some answers. Maybe we can share those answers.
Sure.
But before doing that, I have to ask this first. Do you like to eat spicy food? Is it your thing?
I mean, from a foodie or a food lover's point of view, I do like eating spicy food, but if it's my body or general health answering this question, is totally no, because it's somehow my digestion system cannot handle the fiery feeling after you swallow the spicy food here in China. I know the Chinese spicy food, some of you might not have tried it before. It's very different from the spicy sauces in North America or the seasonings in European countries. So it has this fiery side. So for those of you who are like me, we will probably just try to stay a little bit away from spicy food in general.
Really? How about you, Lai Ming?
I would borrow the internet jargon in Chinese, 人菜瘾大, describing someone who's not really an expert or very well versed in handling something, for instance, playing certain games, but they're quite addicted to the game. So likewise, my relationship with spice and peppers is such. I'm from central China's Jiangxi province, where we tend to use little peppers and spice in our
Lai Ming
cooking.
is being modest. Jiangxi is famous for spicy food.
It is, but it doesn't run in my family. I mean, it's a prevalent trend throughout the province. But sadly, I'm the 人菜瘾大 kind of guy who used to grow up without a strong sense of spice in our cooking. So, well, seeing as I'm from the province and having been accustomed to the diet, I tend to look for spices wherever I go.
That's what I was about to say. Because both you and Yushan, you say that you do not enjoy spicy food. Come on, I've seen you putting in spoons after spoons of spicy oil, a little bit of dried pepper, and also different types of sauces. There are the chopped ones, the chopped pepper with other ingredients. They are quite moist and wet, and the juicy kind. And there are the dried pepper. The dried pepper are always or often combined with some other ingredients. You include them in barbecue, in hot, and also there are the spicy or the pepper oil, 辣椒油. It is also something you want a little drizzle of it in the soup. I've seen both of you doing that. So stop saying you do not do pepper. You do pepper quite well.
I know. My body may be, resisting my temptation to take more. Well, talking about my experience with spicy flavor, I have some experience. For instance, I think spicy oil is very good with noodles. You can blend them with the broth, and they will permeate with the noodles, so the flavor is all saturated. And then you use dry pepper powder. With boiled meat or ribs.
Barbecue.
You dip them in barbecue. That works too.
That works.
Barbecue with kebab and barbecue works. That works as well. And then If you have a plain pig ribs boiled with clean broth, and if you want to add a little flavor, you can use a broth of spicy spices. So it's in Guizhou it's called 蘸水, a liquid kind
of dipping sauce,
a seasoning.
but a really spicy one.
Yes, right.
And that is the thing. According to a research a couple of years ago, the research was conducted by the food delivery platforms, which is definitely with good foundation and with
good indicator
data.
Of
yes,
what people are ordering.
And people are saying, well, actually, it is the platform that is saying that those who enjoy pepper or enjoy spicy food account for nearly 1/4 of the entire people who are ordering, and those who do not specifically say no pepper at all account for only around 6%. And on the platform, it is the Sichuan cuisine and Hunan cuisine, which are famous for being very spicy, but spicy in different ways. We'll explain a bit later that are most popular. So people around the country are enjoying spicy food, and it's no longer a regional thing. It's no longer a which type of cuisine enjoys spicy the most kind of thing. It is definitely a national thing. People would have a taste of spicy food a little bit here, a little bit there, but definitely a little bit in their life.
Well, we have this Chinese saying that people in the southwest prefer the highest volume of spiciness, while people from the north or the eastern side prefer the higher level of mild taste or sweetness in their food.
Sure, yeah.
So here in Guizhou and the surrounding regions in southwest China is the perfect place to grow chili pepper, and also for people to enjoy very spicy food as well. So yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the weather here, because it's such a humid place. After we arrive here, there's no need for any, say, body lotion on me personally, because I am from Beijing, and that's a place where even back in summer we have to apply body lotion because it's still kind of dry. But here I do not feel like I need it, because there's humid in the air, and it's constantly rainy in all different seasons. And yeah, it's a perfect place to grow pepper. And also people here, they absorb a lot of the dampness in the air, which makes eating something hot and spicy in a way helping them to get rid of the dampness inside their body and to make them feel back on their feet, so that they're not always so drowsy, so tired.
It is also, yes, it is also the original reason how come people in, for instance, Sichuan Province, Hunan Province enjoy spiciness. I remember watching a documentary talking about the introduction of pepper into the Chinese nation.
Wow.
It was around the 1400 to around 1500 the pepper was introduced, and back then people living in Guizhou Province, living in Sichuan Province, they were not very wealthy people. They do not enjoy the abundance of food and variety of ingredients like today.
Even salt was in shortage.
Yes, that was precisely the reason people cannot get access to enough salt, and they also would occasionally have the kind of food that are not very fresh anymore, but they need a little bit of ingredient and sauce to cover that not going bad but unpleasant smell. And then they discovered pepper, and they realized that spiciness can somehow be kind of a replacement or substitute for the lack of salt. And that's when the level of spiciness increase and keeping increased till today. And they enjoy, and later on they found what Yushen said, that is when they live in a relatively damp and wet area, if you consume a little bit of pepper, it is actually really good for your body. It makes you feel comfortable. When I was visiting, I think, Qinhuangdao, when I was in college, it was a study trip, and at the 4th or 5th day, I went to a local grocery to buy the pepper kind of snack. I don't know if you tried it, deep fried pepper accompanied with peanuts, and they are in a paper bag, and in that bag you are not eating those as a dish, you have it as a snack.
Yes, kind of like potato chips. It's a
little
popular
bit, yeah,
snack
yeah, yeah.
where I come from as well.
Yes, it's very crispy and it's really nice. And the reason I was looking for those was because it feels so wet, and I realized,
sea,
ooh, I can borrow some wisdom from ancient people in the places where it's really wet, and I can get a little bit of comfortness from the pepper. So yeah, pepper.
Right. So the Guizhou people and peppers, they really hit it up. They really clicked. Really, there was a connection because Yushan sort of mentioned this to a certain extent earlier, because that is the climate here is very good for growing peppers. The average rainfall every year is about 1,200 millimeters, and the average temperature is around 15 degrees Celsius. Not too high, not too low, and also the place is always sunny, almost always sunny, even though there's a lot of rain and it gets cloudy sometimes. But the frost-free period lasts about 270 days a year, so it's a very good place to grow pepper, for them to prosper and grow to perfect places, perfect shapes and perfect flavors, which is why Guizhou has become the place with the largest Guizhou has become the place with the largest amount of peppers grown. We are talking about, in Chinese terms, about 5 million mu, which translates to roughly 133,000 hectares.
Yes, China currently plants over 30 million mu, that is approximately 2 million hectares of chili peppers annually, accounting for around 10% of the country's total vegetable growing area, making it one of the top-ranked crops among all vegetables. And as for Guizhou, it's definitely in the first place when it comes to the area of land growing peppers. And from the perspective of seed use, 95% of the chili seeds used in China are domestically produced, and only 5% are imported. And I don't know if I've shared this already, but both of you said you do not love pepper, yet you eat something really spicy occasionally. I love pepper. I love different types of peppers. I love different types of spiciness, which explains the relatively less sneezing and coughing of me compared to those two very brilliant hosts next to me. Aww. But what I'm about to say is that I noticed something different for Guizhou pepper, because or Guizhou cuisine's spicy type. Because in Sichuan province, for instance, you go to Sichuan province, you go to Chongqing or Chengdu, you enjoy hot pot.
Sure.
Very delicious, very hot, and very numbing, because they include the green pepper, which are essentially another type of ingredient.
No, it's not pepper. It's
not
a different kind of plant.
Exactly.
That introduces a sense of numbness in the dish.
And the numbness is blended perfectly with the spiciness in your tongue. It feels like instead of you eating them, they are eating you alive in a way. That's a good thing for me. I like it. I find it very exciting. It's like watching a horror movie. Instead of you watching it, it's your tongue and your lips watching it. And after finishing the hot pot, the very authentic and spicy one, I can see my lips twice the size. So that is the spiciness in Sichuan province. And then I also traveled to Hunan province. My feeling is the taste of spiciness in Hunan province is also quite nice, but it's also quite salty. I think they add the flavor together a little bit. And then in Anhui, for instance, I've tried the best, no offense to Jiangxi province, I've tried the best chopped pepper sauce in Anhui province. I find it really tasty, and it's also very, it's a mixed flavor. It's complicated.
It's fermented, right?
It's fermented.
Sure.
And I'll leave Jiangxi to you, your province, your pepper, you can share that. But when I'm in Guizhou, my feeling is that the pepper or the sauce in Guizhou is very complicated. You've got the sour and spicy kind of sauce. You've got the chopped and dried type of powder as sauce, and you also can enjoy a little bit of fermented beans paired up with pepper together,
that
kind of
flavor.
I love Guizhou.
I mean, one thing that my interviewee told me yesterday that really shocked me is that we know chili pepper is a type of seasoning, but chili pepper from Guizhou is the seasoning of chili peppers. It adds flavor to the chili production, whether the chili comes from, say, other pepper growing regions in Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region or in Inner Mongolia in northern China.
Right.
Wherever that pepper is coming from, they can get a little bit of just dried Guizhou pepper inside to enhance the flavor, to mix it together to get it even tastier. And that's also why the Guizhou pepper, they are sold at a relatively higher price as well. As of my interview yesterday, the price was about 24 yuan per kilo, which is
24.
about $7 to $8 per kilo. But comparing with that price in, say, the pepper from Inner Mongolia, that would be 7 yuan. So that's, sorry,
$1.
that would be 14 yuan per kilo. So that's about $2.
About $2.
So it's almost like twice the price of pepper from other places. That's also determining on the fact that the Guizhou pepper, it has its own unique flavor. It features lighter skin, which makes it easier to be dried, and it has bigger seeds that contains maybe a bit more flavor. I don't know the chemical term for that, but yeah, it harbors more flavor and fragrance inside the seed. And also all that adding up together make the entire pepper production line more, say, sophisticated right here in Guizhou. So that's why Guizhou is really a nice place. Yeah, a tasty place for spicy food lovers.
I know this is not a competition, but when we begin talking about prices and expensive prices of peppers, then I proudly have a story to tell, because in Jiangxi we pride ourselves for being able to take very spicy food. Spicy duck with blood, and then duck with beers, and then what's more? There's a lot of spicy dishes that people would like to take on as a challenge. And also we pride ourselves for being able to come up with the most expensive pepper throughout the country, I would believe, in some cases. 鱼干辣椒.
Huh. Is it a place?
Yugan is a place in our province, and they are home to the special type of peppers that's very fresh, and that's very, it's soft, and it's not very spicy, but it's very good tender, and you cook them with sliced pork, and with heavy fire, with hot pot, and
sounds delicious.
Yeah, very, very, very delicious. It's becoming very popular throughout the country. But the pepper that we talk about, the first batch of the pepper every year can fetch up to 400 yuan per kilogram, and that's about $60.
That's crazy expensive.
I know.
It's like pepper luxurious goods.
I know. It's the luxury brand of peppers.
I have to say, it's not only here in China people enjoy pepper. In South Africa, for instance, chili peppers are used to make Zulu sauce, a very spicy sauce made with hot chili peppers and tomatoes. In Mexico, chili peppers are deeply embedded in its cuisine and its culinary culture, and they are used in a wide variety of dishes such as moles and salas, and also salsas, excuse me, moles, salsas, and sauces made from different chili types. And also in India, chili definitely is one of the most consumed spice in India. And in Italy, chili peppers are used in sauces, different types of sauces. And beyond cooking, Italians have cultural beliefs involving chili peppers as a decoration at home. It's a sign of protection, and it introduces good luck. And even in the United States, chili peppers are commonly consumed in hot sauces added to a wide variety of foods. And I think it's a little like China. It's a growing trend of people enjoying more and more spicy food. So it's definitely a thing for the entire world, not just for China.
Yeah, in the U.S., I've seen such a live TV show that features inviting celebrities onto the show and try out different levels of spicy chicken wings. They call it the Carolina Reaper wings, or the Buffalo Wild Wings. And sometimes for the first bite, some celebrities might be like crying and I can't take any more, or sometimes they can eat all the way to the most spicy level that was provided on the table. I wonder just how spicy those are. But Liming, before the show, Liming told me that there's something similar in Jiangxi province that can kind of match with this kind of let's try who can take more spiciness competition.
I know. I can't stress this enough because my people, they like to brag about their ability to take spicy food. And in my hometown, we are trying to promote the Jiangxi cuisine with the brand Jiangxi La, Jiangxi Spice. And so in order to do that, they have similar competitions or challenges organized for people who can take spicy food. And they do it in such a fun way. They arrange for people to, to be dipped in hot springs. And in the hot spring,
I think I've seen
there will
that.
be red peppers floating on the surface of the water, and the contestants are tasked with taking as many peppers as possible within a matter of a minute. And I think according to one story that I saw, the winner was able to finish 20 spicy peppers within 1 minute.
Do they have to drink the bath water while they're in it?
I only saw pictures. I have no idea.
It's like swimming.
Maybe that's an option.
Wow.
They're swimming in hot pot juice.
It's like a dare adventure. Daredevil adventure.
It is, yeah.
Wow. And here in Guizhou, in fact, the chili pepper planting area in Guizhou accounts for approximately 1/10 of the global total and 1/6 of China's total.
Right.
Yes, so here in Guizhou, I can see people having that competition here in Guizhou, particularly here in the city of Zunyi as well.
Sure.
And Yushen mentioned a little bit about different level of spiciness.
Yeah.
We are in the China Chili City, which is also CCC. And in CCC, not only can we see the very lively market here in this huge hall or exhibition center, there is also a demonstration area that we visited yesterday. There was this picture showcasing different level of spiciness.
I know, yeah.
From the not very spicy one. We've also seen a demonstration area showcasing different level of spiciness.
Yeah.
From the playing around, kids can taste kind of spicy,
right,
to the very, very super spicy. You know you remember the super spicy one? It's not even a food anymore. The ultra spicy one is used as, or the chemistry from the ultra spicy pepper that is not good for human consumption is used as a painting ingredient. And it's painted under the bottom of huge cruise. So when the cruise is traveling in the sea, other sea animals would not get attached and and destroy or harm the bottom material.
The hull.
Yes, of the ship.
Yeah. So say no to freeloaders. We apply spicy ingredients to the bottom of the ships.
Definitely. Definitely, there are different levels of spiciness, but they all come from this one magical vegetable, pepper. And here we're in the dry pepper market. I keep calling it that because we've visited the market, some other parts of it. Besides the demonstration area, they can also help process a little bit, store a little bit, transport a little bit of the dry pepper. And they're not only doing matchmaking among different enterprises and different companies, they are also introducing different level of different types of services. Right behind us, you can see this huge screen showcasing something kind like the curves and also the indicators of a stock market. It's quite like that.
The dry pepper index. Buyers and sellers around the country, they look at this to decide when, where, and at what price they would like to sell the stock of red peppers.
Because to be more specific, where we're sitting at right now, the CCC, the China Chili City, is not really a city, but rather an operational
area.
Yeah, the operational center of the local pepper industry or chili pepper industry. And right now we're sitting in the, say, the drying and packaging market. But outside of this particular area, there are also cold storage. There is the automated drying processing lines. There is the warehouse where more pepper are being stored. Also places to store fresh, to keep it to keep the fresh pepper separated from the dried ones, and also like agencies of the companies. So these are all part of the scenes that together put forward this CCC, the China Chili City.
China Chili City.
Yeah.
It's quite fascinating. We've been visiting some of the production lines. It's not that complicated if you think about it. You got the pepper, you dry them, and you remove the stem from the pepper so that they are the product, but they're not the final product. They kind of are already the products that you can sell, but you also have to put them into different categories depending on the quality of the pepper. You've got this one type of pepper, and you take it in your hand, you decide whether or not it's big enough, whether or not it's red enough, whether or not the skin is tasty enough, whether or not the seeds inside have enough number of seeds in the pepper so that it's spicy enough. And all that was previously done by manual labor. People sitting down, selecting the pepper, figuring out which one is the first class pepper, which one is the second class pepper, which peppers can only be shredded and made into pepper powder, and maybe not the most pricey ones. But we visited the production line, and all those can be accomplished by machines. And think about how interesting it is, because different peppers, I mean different types of peppers, are quite different. The size of it, the color of it, and also the texture of it. They are different, yet with this just one machine, if you put in the parameter of different aspects, you would be able to get them put into
sorted out,
and no matter which type of pepper you're talking about.
Yeah. After all, this is just a place of packaging and sorting out. I actually saw the local workers. They were cutting the stems yesterday, and I tried to get my microphone closer to catch the sound of that sound. It was really lovely, and they were like looking curious at me because they didn't understand what I was doing, but still they were really fluent and quick with their hand motions of cutting the stems and picking out those black looking or dark looking overheated, over dried pepper products. In fact, right in front of us there's a pile of those that's considered to be waste. So, and the good ones are being bagged into those bags, those white and green bags behind us, and these are the ingredients that's going to be shipped to the, say, different companies or different restaurants as the ingredients to be further processed into pepper products.
And those that you've noticed might be the very best ones, because I talked to people working in the factory. They say that they would sort the peppers out by machine as the first step, and then from the very best peppers they would try to pick out the best out of the best, which can be sold in higher price.
And those who were determining on the price are what they called chili broker. So the role of a chili broker is more like the middleman between the buyer of the chili products and the, say, the seller of it. And there are overall around 3,000 to 4,000 of those that's calculated by the China Chili City officially. And there are some that's right here in the Shazi County in the city of Zunyi, while many more are scattered all around the country. They're walking around in different pepper planting regions in China to negotiate price, to bring the Guizhou pepper outside of Guizhou to all over China to be, served onto your table, even though you're not really right here in Guizhou. And some of those brokers, my interview shared a story to me. A lot of these brokers we see today, they are the third generation brokers. For over 60 years, people in Zunyi, they've been doing this kind of businesses, dealing with pepper products and bags of pepper to be shipped outside and negotiate the price. So nowadays they call themselves the third generation because their grandpa were doing what they're doing now.
Differently. Because 30 years ago, it was a different way of doing business. Now we talked to staffers at the CCC, China Chili City. They told us that about 80% of the peppers that they process here, they are grown at massive farms, not individual farmers that live in rural areas. But back in the days, the chili brokers, they They were small, very small businesses. They were daredevils, like you, to quote the word you used earlier. Many of them, they were individuals who thought this is a good idea to go and work in the pepper industry. They would collectively, 3 or 4 of them, would rent a car or invest in a truck. They would rent a truck or they would invest in a truck, and they would drive the truck to the doorsteps of farmers who used to grow peppers. They would collect the peppers. But back in the days, the roads weren't as good as they are now, and Guizhou also is a very mountainous area. They sometimes have to fully pack the trucks so that they have no place to sit. They have to sit on top of the piles and piles of red pepper. So it can be very dangerous back in the days for the first generation of pepper brokers. But now for the third generation, they will play the capital game. They will pool their resources and their connections. They will try and establish some control or some say over a particular type of peppers throughout the industrial chain, the upstream and downstream, so they can sort of gain a level of say in determining the prices to some extent.
There are good reasons for that, because previously, you can imagine, people do not have cell phone, they cannot communicate instantly, they do not know whether or not my precious pepper that I spent a year growing would go for a good price, would get me some delicious meal that I have been looking forward to for a really long time. So what I can do, I wait for these pepper brokers to come to my home and they will give me a price. I can compare the price with previous years, but what do I know? I do not know how other people are doing this year. So I would definitely go to the chili pepper broker that I trust, and I give them the entirety of my stock, all of my peppers, and that was it for my entire year. And we even heard from people working here that previously the best time for selling pepper, or the busiest time for pepper dealing was during around August or September.
Right.
Because these families would send their kids to school and it's the start of school year, so they have to pay the money for the entire term. They have to get their kids some supply and also books and also pay for the tuition. So that was the busiest time. But that situation has changed definitely for today, because we have that huge screen right behind us. The price is almost instantly updated. You get to know different price for different type of pepper on your cell phone. Now, pepper people, we call them pepper people because they deal pepper for a living, they have that application in their phone, each and every one of them. So they know the price and they know when to stock a little bit, when to sell a little bit. And they can even send their peppers here into a fridge storation here in the market. And with a relatively cheaper price, the market would help them. The market, by saying the market, actually mean the China Chili City would help them store the pepper so that they do not have to worry about the pepper go bad.
Yeah, it's really interesting you were mentioning about the price variety each year, because the China Chili City, it was ready to be put into businesses in 2017, around that time. But before that time, people in Guizhou, they still grow pepper, they still sell pepper, but just in a, say, a group trading way, not in such a systematic, well-organized, centralized way. So before the CCC became that invisible hand in the market, the price each year may vary from very high to very low, because maybe one year more pepper planters, they realize, oh, it's really profiting for me to grow pepper, so I'll grow more. And then for the next year, that growing more from previous years is going to lead to a price drop in the next year. So the price is always waving, and people cannot guarantee a very stable payment. But after the China Chili City becomes, say, the major pillar of the local pepper industry, they combining with investment from different corporations and companies, and also with the support from the provincial government and also from the bank, they now have the cold storage where they can get the pepper and store for 1 to 2 years as, say, even a currency to maintain its value, so that the pepper that's bought from the the planters themselves are not going to cause them to lose money over the years. And then when they sell it, they can still maintain the pepper to be fresh, in a good shape, to the food market in the future. So yeah, that's the very important role the China Chili City is playing in recent years, especially after 2017, 2018, where they're hosting this, they call it the Chili Expo every year, where people from all over China, from all over the world even come to Zunyi to, walk around, pick what variety of chili pepper they prefer, and bring their products to further regions outside of Zunyi. And that's how we see all the data and the price surges. And even though they change every once in a while, it's still within a relatively balanced manner, and that's have the whole system to thank.
And it's also a good thing for the buyers as well.
Yeah.
For the buyers, when they were buying peppers previously, they have to think about whether or not the pepper they buy can accommodate or can meet their needs. So they have to stock the pepper a little, which means that they need more cash, or they need more flow of cash to maintain, to expand the production line, to find good marketing campaign, and maybe to invest in creating or to doing research in some new types of pepper sauce they want to do research for. They didn't used to have the money, but now, not having to or not being forced to stock more raw ingredient, they can actually do all those things that we talked about. So it's a good thing for the pepper buyers as well as the pepper sellers. But I was kind of worried for the brokers. I mean, they've been doing this for quite a long time, and they have the eye for the best type of pepper. I was told that for us, when we have, for example, my personal favorite, hot pot,
Sure.
I see the pepper floating, happily swimming on the broth.
They're just pepper.
They're just pepper. They're, shorter, larger, beautiful red peppers, and they look delicious. That's all I can tell from the pepper I see.
Sure.
Yet, for the pepper brokers, they get to see which exact type the pepper is,
Right.
which one's better, which one's more expensive, which ones are chopped up and made into sauce that are, nah, for their taste, not for me. I love all the peppers. So I was worried for them. Will they still be able to find a way of living to support the family? They have this great eye for pepper, yet machines are replacing them, are they?
Now, obviously, the way of life and the way of work have somehow evolved over time for the pepper brokers over the years. We talk about how the first generation of pepper brokers, they used to risk their lives renting a truck or buying a truck to do transportation. But there was a time when price wasn't transparent for everybody in the game. So they had a huge space to manipulate the prices. They can push the price down when they negotiate with individual farmers. They can push the price up when they talk to
The
buyers in urgent need. So the space was open, the profit was huge for them. But then with the advent of the CCC, the information on pepper prices has become immediately available to whoever that's in the business. So the room has become narrow for them, but the game has changed its rules. For them, the CCC not only provides the price index for people in the industry, they also serve as a form of verification or certification. So we're talking about Guizhou, but also other places in the country, they grow peppers. Because of the name of the CCC here is so influential, people have to sometimes transport their peppers to here, CCC, to get certified, whether it's level 1, level 2, level 3.
Right.
And then once they get that certification, they find it easier to sell them to buyers across the country, if not around the world. So the game has changed for them. But over time, the CCC is also looking to expand its business. Now they're a service platform in real terms, in the real world. They're looking to expand their service, the scope of the service, by putting it to the cloud, putting it online. They're working on improving their service system so buyers around the world, they don't have to travel here per se. They could use that platform to shop online, much like what you do with Amazon or Taobao in China. So buyers and sellers, they can log on to this platform, and there be even some financial services provided by the platform. So that's the next, maybe that's the rule for the third, if not the fourth, fifth generation of paper brokers in the making.
I actually met a short video yesterday. When I was browsing the internet, I've seen several pepper brokers talking in a short video, selling the pepper and talking about their occupation and talking about how come that with their specialty they get to have access to multiple different types of peppers. Because if you think about the farmers, they are definitely expert in the exact spice or exact type of pepper they grow, and for the buyers, they would search for the pepper that they need to use for their product. But it is the brokers who actually know almost all of the different types of peppers,
right,
the advantages and disadvantages of one aspect, and also the other aspects of the pepper. They know everything. So for buyers, they can help you find the peppers you're looking for that you didn't even know exist previously if it's not for them. So they do still have this huge advantage in the industry. They still have the knowledge, they have the sources of buyers and sellers, which is why for the third generation, if not fourth, many of them have already started to organize their own plantation. They talk to the farmers, the planters that they know of, and they get their farm sometimes. They would hire workers to grow in the farm, grow the type of peppers that they want. They can also cooperate with the farmers, give them a bottom line, a safety net for price, so that they do not lose their passion in growing the peppers. So many things are still happening for the brokers. After talking to people working here, I was reassured a little bit, and I was happy that to know, at least in the industry of peppers, human beings are not replaced by AI just yet.
Yeah, and speaking of passion, as far as I've been hearing from my interviewees and also the companies and also local people here, they have faith in this whole industry that the majority of them here in Zunyi are participating right now. Because as of 2024, the total volume of transactions in the market here in the CCC in China, Chile City, reached over 500,000 tons with a trading volume of 10 billion yuan. That's over 1.3 billion US dollars, and that's just within 1 year. So, and also my interviewee mentioned that here in Guizhou Province, almost every county inside the whole province are more or less participating in the planting or processing or the shipment of chili pepper products. So it's more like a provincial, all participating kind of industry that is not easily given up just simply because automation is everywhere. And also one good example to show how passionate people are about this is that, Guizhou as one province, they have a very high volume of dry pepper production because they have a very sophisticated automated drying processing line right here in Guizhou. I think in the city of Zunyi there are over 1,000 of such drying lines. Some are, say, state-owned. Some are just supported by just local government or just individual companies. Previously, we mentioned how July, August, and September tends to be the busiest time for the local people to process chili pepper. That's when they harvest the most. That's when usually the local drying lines work the busiest. Yeah, 24 hours. But at the rest of the year, during the rest of the year, it's always resting. But during the pandemic years, in the past few years, provinces nearby in the south, from Guangxi and Hainan provinces, in the west, the Sichuan province and the city of Chongqing, and then on the eastern side with Hunan and Hubei province, they all have fresh chili pepper grown but failed to dry on their own. And due to the pandemic, the transportation were kind of limited. So what the local government did was that the whole southwestern region of China, they cooperated to have the majority of the fresh pepper to be shipped here in Guizhou and get dried and get stored here in the CCC, in the China Chile City, so that the loss from other provinces regarding their chili economy is not that bad during that time. So that's one example of how people are passionate about this whole industry that they're participating in and that they're fully supporting as well. So it's not something to be easily replaced by AI for sure.
And it is very assuring to see. And it's also, I think that's the beauty of having an entire industry from the upper stream to the lower stream. All of the industrial link is relatively concentrated in a smaller area.
Sure.
So that the upgrade of each and every industrial link can happen faster. And that happening or that change can affect other industrial part, and also people can get to talk to each other easier, they get to communicate easier, and these kind of information platforms get to be built easier, which would definitely be a huge impetus for the development of the entire industry,
right,
at least here in Guizhou, and definitely affecting the industry in China. And we see that the global chili pepper market size was valued at approximately $1.2 billion in 2024, and is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 6.4% to reach almost $1.8 billion by 2030, driven by increasing demand worldwide. Though we talk to people here, and they say that they are still trying really hard to meet the needs of the domestic market,
right,
because their peppers are just so good, and domestically people want Guizhou peppers, so they're not doing too much with the overseas market, but definitely they are selling product to certain companies in outside of China already. And with this kind of growing trend, I can see them opening the international market quite soon.
That's indeed the next phase of, say, development direction that the local government and also the China Chili City are trying to head over to at this point. So yeah, now they think it's about the time for, say, the local government or the local pepper operational centers to start to host maybe something like pepper or chili pepper tourism, or to have to put on more efforts on introducing their local pepper culture to other parts of the world, to welcome people to recognize that right here in southwest China's Guizhou Province, we have such a pillar industry of chili pepper that's not so much comparing with what you guys add in the Buffalo Wild Wings, but still it's very famous locally and it's very tasty, as affirmed by the majority of the Chinese people.
Yeah, the Chinese people's appetite for spicy food is still growing, and the domestic market is still not fully satisfied. China exports about 5% of its pepper output every year in recent years, so there's still room for it to grow. China is not the largest exporter of the peppers in the world. It's not just yet, but we're not looking to become the largest pepper exporter. There's Mexico, other countries as well. But I see a point in having pepper people coming together, because during the few days we've been here, we had a tour around the city. We've seen processing plants where they make fermented pepper products, where they make snacks out of pepper. But we don't see anything that's really opening our eyes, that's something that's really disruptively innovative. But in our research, we found that pepper can be used in different ways, including the very extreme way of applying them to the hull of ships and cruises. There is also
lipstick.
Right. There are also stories about the use of some chemicals abstracted from pepper to apply them to lipsticks, which can be safer.
It is actually very safe because they're edible and they're safe for human use, and they are superior coloring. They have superior coloring power, and also they are quite antitoxin, and they also have formula stability, meaning that when they are in the lipstick, you do not wait for the lipstick for 2 and 3 years and see, it's not red anymore, it's white, and I cannot use it. But do not recommend you to use a lipstick after 3 years. I'm just saying it's really stable, and also it's really safe for human use. So yes, lipstick some lipsticks would have pepper in it as well. Sorry to interrupt. I'm just feeling that lipstick is my area. I cannot let you share the lipstick story, Lai Ming.
You bought me some time to look up for the vocabulary for the words of these. So capsanthin apparently is the chemical that we derive from chili peppers that can be used in lipsticks.
Oh, by the way, the lipstick won't be spicy if you apply it on your lips.
Thank goodness.
Because this is the thing in Chinese. In Chinese, this is called 辣椒红, so chili pepper red. So it would assume it's spicy, but it's not. So be reassured. But in English, it does not have that application anymore.
Yeah, so you see my point. There's a lot of things that we can do to expand the scope of pepper application. We don't only get to eat them. We can find out ways to make better use of them. Perhaps, who's to know? And the researchers and business people come together. They can come up with more innovative ways to make use of this. Are they really vegetables?
They are vegetables. They're one of the most grown vegetable in China. And even, Lai Ming said, we can find different ways to use pepper. We can still find different ways to eat pepper. You know, there are very trendy and popular ice cream in the flavor of the laoganma pepper.
I gotta try that.
See, and also you can have pepper flavored chewing gum. You can have pepper flavored, of course, different types of snacks already quite spicy. They use pepper already. So even in the area of food, of snacks, of trendy product that has a label on it that is collaborated from a pepper industry with another, I don't know, trendy toy industry can also happen in the market. These traditional pepper industries are also doing all these things to cater to the needs of the younger generation, making it fun and spicy and hot for the younger generation.
You mentioned the brand of a very famous Chinese chili pepper oil sauce, spicy sauce. We have John Cena to thank for, you know, introducing this particular type of sauce to the overseas audience. But foreign, pepper lovers, as I've seen, as I've browsed on the internet, they have no idea that Guizhou Province is such a pepper, growing province. They have no idea where Guizhou is. They have no idea of how big the pepper economy is right here in China. But they know that Chinese people love this very tasty chili oil sauce, and that it's very famous in North America, in European countries as well. While I was studying in the UK, I see that laoganma jars on each and every Chinese stores that I visit. Just how popular they are.
But I have to say, these years, I have personally tasted many other brands of chili pepper sauces, other types of sauces, fermented bean sauces with chili pepper in it, different brands, different types, and they are inventing, they are trying to be more healthy even, because for Chinese people, we believe that when the chili pepper sauce is good, you have to add a lot of salt in it to make the flavor heavy and rich and sophisticated enough. Yet it's not considered something so healthy, which is why a lot of chili pepper sauce company are doing the research to reduce the level of salt in the sauce and still have the same flavor that you used to be able to enjoy. Still, because people nowadays would like to have a healthy lifestyle, healthier lifestyle. That is why these trends are also happening in the pepper industry, and with more and more companies and enterprises doing more research and trying to create a better product, I get to see the thrive and booming of the fiery industry. And that brings us to the end of today's roundtable. Roundtable is here in Guizhou Province, and we're doing a special series, China Horizons. Hopefully in the future we can take you to more places and looking into those fun and interesting and inspiring stories that we have been shared today. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for spending this one spicy hour with us. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See ya.